welcome to the Young Alumni UM webinar series. So today we are starting our series on how to jumpstart your career. And today I would like to introduce our UM Alumni Office. I know that not everyone knows that UM actually have its own dedicated alumni office. So you could always contact us if you have any questions or inquiries about the Alumni UM community. My name is Min. I am head or ketua di Pusat Hubungan Alumni dan Kemajuan Institusi, or Center for Alumni Relations and Institutional Advancement. This is a bit mouthful. Thank you for joining us today. And today we have two speakers that will be sharing with you their experience and more on career development. Today we have Mr. Saifullah Arif from Aisling. I hope I pronounced it correctly this time, Mr. Saif. Mr. Saif is going to share with us today his experience. And Mr. Saif is a corporate practice lead at Aisling. He has been in the workforce for over 7 years, and he started out in finance before moving on to recruitment a few years ago. Aside from finance and recruitment, he has started lead generation businesses, and he has a very strong interest in development of cryptocurrencies and DeFi, which is, I think, a very in topic these days, cryptocurrency. Yeah. I still don't know how it works, but I hear it's good business. Yep. So you have worked with clients in the industry of tech, media, fintech, and telco, and he has also very strong network running up from startup founders through to top level corporate management individuals. So without further ado, I would like Mr. Saif to start his presentation today. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Min, for your introduction. Let me just get this thing started over here. So great. Can everyone see can you all see this presentation? Yeah.
Yep, I think we can see. If you can't see the presentation, or if there's any technical issues or whatever, you could put it in the chat box on the side and we will try to help you. And also, if you have any questions, you can wait until the end of the session to ask Mr. Saif, or you could also put in the chat box next so that Mr. Saif can answer your inquiries. Okay, Mr. Saif.
Thank you. Thank you, Min. Okay. So thank you all for joining today on a Thursday, almost heading into the weekend. I hope you're all feeling really well. I do want you guys to take notes and also be prepared to ask questions, because there may be things in here that you've not heard before or you've not come across, and I do want to sort of expand as much as possible in the time given. So just a bit of my career profile. I actually left A-levels, and in 2015, I decided to leave after my first year. I went for apprenticeships and I applied for manufacturing all the way through to finance apprenticeships. What this means in the UK, where I studied, actually, you would work 4 days a week and go to college 1 day a week to study that subject. So I did this for about a year, did finance, in fact, and I completed my finance diploma working as a credit controller. During this time, I actually worked 2 other jobs during the evening and weekends, and I set up an online lead generation business for over 50 landing sites targeting Australian markets. So that's something we'll come to all together. And I started off my professional career after my diploma in PwC Malaysia. For 3 years, I practiced audit, where one day I decided, you know what, I'm sick of sitting in rooms and doing numbers, crunching numbers and talking to clients without, fulfillment. So I decided to go into recruitment. For the past 3 years in recruitment, I've been working with fresh grads all the way through to senior management as candidates, and as well as just giving career advice and even, some CV review sessions as well. So that's a little bit about myself, and we'll go into what's next. Now, for a lot of you fresh grads, who are coming into the market, you are seeing a blank canvas, or you are seeing a lot of companies asking for, specific skill sets that might not be attributable to the courses that you've done. Now, what you can do is understand what companies need in the market. And once you understand what's available and what's out there for you, you can then go about troubleshooting where you can slot yourself in terms of value. Now, where can you find what companies need? Well, Talent Corp have a website, partner with the government, and they have a critical occupations list. So that list is renewed every single year. And it actually lists, I think this year they've renewed it twice. And it lists down from 1 to, I don't know how many numbers there are, but all the employments, industries, and what sort of roles are in demand right now. After that, you have to look at what you're able to offer. What have you studied, or what skill sets have you learned across the years in your experience, or throughout your university years being involved in certain initiatives? What have you been able to develop in order to give these companies something that they're able to, swap a salary for, or swap and give you experience for? This also brings to the point, like, what if your degree is not in the field of where you want to offer your skill sets? Now, what you can do is all industries and all industries and companies are actually digitizing and upgrading sort of technology integration across processes. So regardless of what you're doing, regardless of the industry you're in, there will be a digitization process where you can be involved in. And because as young people, you have so much time on your hands to actually understand and learn some of these things that are out there for free. What else can you do to stand out? So obviously, there are plenty of fresh grads who are now coming into the world of work where everything is remote. I have clients asking me, I want somebody with 1 or 2 years experience. Now, a lot of people with 1 or 2 years experience have only working from home. So how can you put yourself amongst others who have probably not worked before, who have worked pre-COVID and you've never worked before? So what can you do to stand out? And this is something more of a self-reflection on what other skills you can bring to the table. Now, I'm going to share with you 4 key points now. So I want you to take note of these next 4 points. Function, industry, technology, and the last one is passion. So these 4 pillars I would use as a framework into understanding what you would like to do. If you think that your degree has no place in the world of work right now, use this as a framework. Find out what function in a company you would like to work in. Functions, whether it's a support, control, or operational function, this is something that you would have to go out there and look what sort of roles that, are available for something that you've done. Now, industry, what industries are now, booming, and what's moving faster than others is obviously technology, e-commerce, anything digital, anything fast-paced. Now, can you place yourself, if you were in medicine, within an industry? Within that industry, is there anything that's fast-paced? Of course there is. There's so many hospitals now taking up this new technology in regards to the vaccination plus disease spotter sort of to diagnose patients as fast as they come in. So if you're on the front end of that turn in industry, that's something that you can look forward to being a leader in the future. So for technology, what are the technologies within that industry and function that lend itself to career growth or personal growth? So a lot of companies nowadays look for data management technology. So anything that you can gather, visualize, and tabulate data to make things look pretty, B, readable, and C, functional for companies to actually make decisions and move things ahead. So technology, whether it's business analytics insights, or whether it's programming, or whether it's actually, electrical engineering, like understanding the technology behind everything, that's something as well that you could offer. The last one is passion. Why I put this in, I was only taught function, industry, and technology. passion I put in there because, you know, I started out in finance because, you know, my dad's an accountant and he said, you know, go ahead and do accounting. So for myself, I felt like it was never a passion, more of something I was good at in terms of maths and finance. So I realized that very quickly, passion will always lead you to your happiness. So if you think you're happier talking to people and dealing with people, then you should look for a role that's very people facing. Where if you are a process driven person, you're very analytical and you don't like to work with too many people, then you might want to look at something that's focused on analysis or more towards the support function, because in that sense you're more relied on in terms of your insights rather than your skill set, your soft skills. So yeah, passion is something that you will always circle back to in terms of your job search. It should be something that you say, always ask yourself, is this something that I will see myself doing over the next 2 to 3 years? Okay. So as fresh grads, I think what's the biggest challenge now is because of the saturation of unemployment and you know, not enough roles in the market for people who have just graduated. This point is pretty important because there's very limited channels that you can go through, right? And in order to use those channels effectively, you need to be able to find out what loopholes you can do and what can you do to set yourself apart. So the first one I would put is direct messaging. Direct messaging people on LinkedIn is an extremely positive way of putting yourself out there. Now, people ask me, like, what do I say? How do I direct message someone? How do I initiate a conversation? Well, if you are looking for jobs within the telco industry, you connect and direct message people within that who are leaders, team managers, and just drop a mention saying, hi, I'm a fresh grad. I've graduated in so-and-so. I'm interested in the industry of telco. I would like to know a bit more about what you're doing. Would you have time? Now, people who are in this position, I can tell you for a fact, I've received some messages like this, and it's quite, it's kind of invigorating to see that some people want to know more about what you're doing. So don't ever think that you're being a nuisance to people. Always feel that, you know, you can offer something to them as well as they can offer something to you. Industry and peer networking. So again, this leads back to the direct messaging. So if you've messaged 10 managers within that, you will then see that, and if you've connected with them, you will see other networks that you can connect with and message as well. Peer networking, so that's across your friends, your family, and anywhere that you've probably done an internship at, you know, just reach out to people and ask them, how are they doing? Do they know anybody who's looking to hire? Is there anybody in the market? Is there any jobs that you feel that you could be of value to? So just checking in on the industry, checking in on your peers, all of this will definitely add to you know, applying yourself in this current job market. So attitude and perseverance, this is one of the most important, I would say, points as well. Nowadays, with a lot of fresh grads, I think what I hear from hiring managers is, hey, we hired somebody for an internship and, you know, the attitude wasn't there, you know, the perseverance and being able to actually stick to deadlines and do things in a systematic order. That's something that they found a lot of fresh grads to not have. Now, how do you put yourself above that, right? Now, you obviously have to move first. So moving first, meaning you always ask and be initiative, be inquisitive. You know, if you are inquisitive and you ask a lot of questions, this adds to, you know, the persona of your attitude. And again, if you feel like this internship that you're in is the internship you want to really work in for the rest of, you know, that's what you want to do for your first job, and subsequently after that, continue in that career, then I would say you have to put in the extra hours. Now, work-life balance, I think for some people it's skewed a little bit. there's no such thing, to be honest. I think everybody has to have the harsh realization that, you know, in order for you to be a industry leader or the top of your game, and I'm sure a lot of you people are ambitious, you know, coming to this talk at 11 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday, you know, with no commitment, that's something, right? So being able to put yourself at the forefront and, you know, break that mold of what the fresh grads are displaying. Unfortunately, that is the sort of message that's going out there at the moment. The next would be being systematic, scheduled, and keeping aligned. Now, when you're doing all of these 3 steps, so direct messaging people, you know, industry peer networking, and having this attitude, you know, the go-getter attitude, being able to sort of do things when it's needed, is all good and well. But if you can't continue to do that and keep it systematic and repeat that cycle again and again, because I can guarantee you that you won't get any answers from your first or second try that will set your career for the rest of your life. It might happen, it may, most likely will not. So what you need to do is keep doing this. And if you decide to start skipping steps, or if you decide, you'll see results get worse. So if results get worse, you know, with the pandemic and with the constant, you know, EMCOs and stuff, that will affect your mental adaptability to continue to do this. So one thing is to stay systematic, scheduled, and keep things aligned with what you set out to do in the first place. So yeah, just apply yourself to everywhere. Be as you know, as bold as possible. At the end of the day, if people don't reply, they won't remember you. So it's not something that you have to overthink when you hit send. In fact, I would say, you know, prepare a scripted message and send that out, copy and paste. Therefore, it takes a lot of the thinking out of, you know, what you're doing. The last slide I want to sort of share, 3 words. So people are people. A lot of fresh grads nowadays are, or young people in general, are very scared or intimidated by big titles or, you know, certain individuals because they have a great following or whatnot. Now, to sort of, you know, visualize that for you, just want you to look at this. Like, everybody's the same. You know, everybody breathes oxygen, everybody eats food, everybody drinks water. Now, everybody has emotions as well. And throughout the day, a CEO may feel the same emotions as a fresh grad. A director or president may feel the same as a CEO. Now, all of these things are something that, you know, you can tune into as you speak to people. And how do you do that? You build rapport. Now, the best thing to build rapport is find something that's common between you and them and exploit that. So if you're able to find something on, say, for example, one of the industry leaders' LinkedIn profiles, and you see that's, you know, or they've mentioned something about cryptocurrency and you're really into it, you go ahead and message them about it. With, obviously, you want to put something out there that's substantial for them to actually engage with. And once you've done that, you've built rapport without actually knowing it. So research, be inquisitive, be ambitious, and just remember that people are just people. That's all for me. I think I'll take a couple of questions here, and then we'll move after that. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to just type them or shout them out.
Yeah, if you have any questions, anyone, just turn on your microphone or your video, and then you can just ask Mr. Saif or type in the chat box.
I have a question, Mr. Saifullah.
Sure.
Okay, so especially for those who are hired within this current time, we are not going to offices. What would be your advice on how we can set a foundation on our work? Because we are not meeting our friends, right?
Colleagues, yes.
Yeah. So, what would be your advice for that?
So again, I think having a structure and having a framework in place that you stick to. One thing that's really hard, I found really hard as well, was getting up early in the morning, and you know that feeling of walking into office and saying hi to everyone and stuff like that. That's missed, right? So what I've actually started to do with my team is everybody when they wake up. I don't care if you've got bad hair. I don't care if you haven't brushed your teeth. Get on the call so we can just say, hi, how's everyone doing? Okay, and then get off the call. It doesn't even have to be a 10-minute thing. So when you're working from home, especially if you have close-knit teams, I think one thing is just reach out to them, especially in the morning, and get everybody. If you feel like you need motivation, I can guarantee everybody else in the team needs motivation. So why don't we just reach out to everyone and try and be the motivating factor for the other person whilst motivating ourselves? So I think that's one way I've tackled it. Try and get some sort of an office routine at home. So if your desk is in your bedroom, get out the bedroom early, go outside or something, break that mold of going straight from bed to desk, and I think that's something I've slowly learned. It's not been easy for myself. I think for the first couple of weeks of the MCO in January, I did work from the bed for 2 weeks. I hope my manager's not here, but yeah. So I think there's some of that, it's normal, it's human. But yeah, to break the mold, I think that's something very imperative to motivation.
How would you advise them if, say, this is the first day, but they are not meeting any of their colleagues? How best would they introduce themselves for everyone in the company? Okay,
so I've actually had this recently as well. We had somebody who joined during MCO. So what I've said is I've told them, get on a personal phone call with every single person in the team. Be it 25 minutes, half an hour, just say hi, yes, I've joined, and just to introduce yourself and build rapport. Again, everything comes down to building rapport. And if you've just joined a company that you have no idea, and again, back to the previous slide here, was people are people, and when you do join a company, it's quite daunting to even say hi to everyone. I remember even when I joined Ashling, I am quite a confident person, but even standing in front of the whole office and everyone's like, hi, my name is, is quite daunting. So, that's something I think just to keep in mind. People are people, and everyone would love to hear from you.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Thank you. Any more questions? No, well, I mean, yeah, if you have any questions that you want to keep on till later as well, you can write them. I think we'll take some more at the end, right?
Yeah, so if you don't have any questions now, we can share it later. Maybe, Mr. Saif, at the end of the session, you can still ask more questions. Sure. Thank you so much, Mr. Saif, for the sharing. Oh, we got a question. Let's get one from Jimmy first.
Sure.
So,
may I know how important networking is in the uni? Hi, Jimmy. How important is it? It's very important. I mean, for myself, I can say that, I've not been to university. I don't have a degree, but that social environment, and for myself, when I started businesses, I always put myself in groups that were A, older than me, and B, where there's a lot of people who have influence. So in uni, I think if you have that, the platform to speak to as many people in as many places as possible, it is very important to, again, I'm going to keep repeating myself in building rapport. Rapport is like one of the number one, things in networking, and having strong relationships with people. And it's a continuous thing. It's not something that you build once and you just leave it. It's a bridge that you have to constantly upgrade. Yes, that's right. Network is your net worth. My dad told me that once, and I was like, okay, now I'm starting to get to know everyone. Yeah. Okay. I guess, yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat for later. And even, connect with me on LinkedIn, and feel free to message me there as well. I think I will share with Min my LinkedIn link and all.
That's great. Thank you again so much, Mr. Saif, for the sharing session.
Thank you.
Let me just, yeah. All right. So today we have another very exciting, interesting speaker from CAT, Miss Roslinda Abubakar Kelsey. Miss Linda, hello.
Hello.
Hi. So welcome to our UM series. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to our students today, our graduates today. Some of them have just graduated, some of them looking for work. We're very excited to have you today. Okay, so I'm going to share with you a little bit about Miss Linda. She is currently the head of people and culture at the Center of Applied Science, CATS. She started with a degree in engineering from Loughborough University. So we have two speakers who have UK backgrounds today. And she began as a lecturer at Multimedia University. And then she joined Nexus to pursue her curiosity in technology, exploring her true calling as an engineer at that time. And after that, she has switched her career to IBM during the merge of telco IT technologies and was the first telecommunications focused technologies in IBM Malaysia. After finishing her master's in engineering business management in the UK as well, Ms. Linda stepped into IBM Malaysia in ASEAN business development role, led a team of IT solution architects, and she managed to grow a single client account to a record-breaking revenue in less than 2 years. Now she is within a HR company, and she was headhunted by Celcom and saw the need to transform learning and development practices to anticipate and prepare the organization to ride the wave of technology evolution. So we can see that her passion has grown to more than just engineering, now into recruitment, helping, I think, many people to pursue their own personal calling. So we are very happy to have you today. Ms. Linda, over to you.
Thank you, Min. Yeah, wow, with that kind of intro, I sounded very ancient.
We're ancient with wisdom. So that is what we're imparting today to our young alumni. Yeah.
All right. Okay, I hope I do justice to the session. So I'm going to project my screen, yeah. All right. So yeah, if you pay attention to the intro just now, I'm a technologist by background with a degree in engineering, and then a master still, though a bit of business management, but still in technology. Have always been in technology-centric industry. So I love what Saifullah shared just now, and I paid great attention to it. He talks about function industry, technology, and passion. I guess that passion has always been in technology somehow. And so it translated into technology practitioner, and now enhancing or enabling organizations to adapt to the technology wave. As I've been there, I had to adapt, and given that in the past being a telco engineer, and have seen how monstrous all the telco equipments were, and now that monstrosity has only translated into a cloud-based solution that reduce carbon footprints and such. I've been there, and my talk today probably will be complementary to what Saifullah has actually shared, which is awesome, really, because I'm going to show the how when you want to make yourself marketable. And then you can apply to the tips and tricks that Saifullah has actually shared just now. So to set the right context of how evolved we are in technology when we talk about IR 4.0, yeah. So the all-in-all, what I can say is that from one industry revolution to the next, it takes about 100 years for us to actually evolve. But then from IR 3.0, where that lady there with her typewriter and that phone in hand and all that, that alone is taking us less than 30 years to evolve to where we are going to be at the right end here. talk about the kind of workplace. And the fact of the matter, in Malaysia alone, when I started working early 2000, so stop guessing my age. And my dad was still working then, and he retired sometime 2003. And our government just introduced computer at workplace. So early 2000, Malaysia public offices still look like the left-hand side here. And imagine in that about what 20-30 years span, yeah, and we are now in the middle. And imagine that today you still will face the organization where you have like 5 generations working together, and you will still face people who used to work and their environment, how they are taught, the competency level and all that, people from the left side. Okay, so imagine how daunting that the experience of these people would be, and how the resistance level to change also is very high. And what do we do for you people who has been equipped or not and want to be equipped, and you are so familiarized with the technology in the middle right now, and these people who back then has to work this way. So you see that how you have that responsibility to actually bring organization, the nation and all that to the next level, to the right-hand side. So it can be daunting to people in the middle as well. So what do we do, yeah, to be in demand, to create ourselves or recreate, reinvent and all that, so that we fit into the scenario on the right, because it's inevitable. You can't avoid it. It's like a skill you need to acquire, similar like the skill of reading. Yep, so you got to be literate. So to me, my tips is this: get yourself familiar. And this is a saying of a Malay saying, tak kenal maka tak cinta. You got to familiarize yourself with all these pillars, all this jargon, because regardless of what functions, what degree that you graduated in, be it whether it's technological or not, it's unavoidable that all level of functions in any industry would need to be familiarized with some or most of this technology. So if it's not familiar to you, please, I challenge you to start getting yourself familiarized. Okay, so that's tips number 1. Tips number 2, if you don't already know, there are 9 pillars to IR 4.0 that has been defined. And if you see these pillars here, I've got only 8. So where is the 9th? So the 9th is actually a connecting pillar that you cannot avoid, and it is called the big data analytics. So why I put it as cut across is because the commonality of skills in each of these pillars is all about data collections and about making full use of that data, analyzing it, and make things better. And you cannot avoid, when you go digital, you go onto all these platforms and not make use of that data and make decision that is data driven. So that's why I left the corporate world, why I joined CATS, and why I'm passionate about all this data enablement and literacy, right? So I hope that everyone is on the same page, yeah? So talk about the technology, talk about industry and its applicability. So what I would like to also enable you today is how Jack Ma, in a short excerpt of the video that I have put together, actually summarize the technology evolution that we are going through, and he actually called it the world of data technology. So I hope that you enjoy the next piece and pay attention to what he's sharing.
Brenda, we can't hear the voice.
Sorry?
We can't hear the voice. There's voice, right?
Oh, okay. How do I? So you can't hear the.
Yes. You need to share your computer's audio together with the presentation.
Correct. So do I reshare and activate that, or I can activate from the control here? Reshare.
Yeah, I think you can reshare. It will be probably faster.
Yeah. Okay. Let me do that. Share screen.
Share screen and then tick.
Oh,
for the
share
audio.
sound. All right.
Yes,
Share
correct.
sound. Okay. And optimize video clip too. All right.
Digital time. The world is shifting from IT to DT. DT is not the digital time, it's data time. Digital time is the upgraded version of IT. DT is totally different from IT. Data time is new theory. And data technology is the solution to solve a lot of problems we have today. IT technology make ourselves strong. DT technology is to empower the others. IT technology, we compete knowledge. DT technology, we compete smart wisdom. IT technology, we compete with muscle. And DT technology, we compete with brain. And IT make us know the world better. DT will know the human being better. So finally, I want to say is that DT technology will kill a lot of jobs, but most of these jobs are stupid jobs.
All right. So what I actually like about this video and his speech is this end sentence here about a lot of jobs, the stupid jobs going to be killed. And if you recall my first slide, right, when the lady using the typewriter and all that, and if you don't already know the kind of competency, let's say that lady is an accountant, right? But the kind of skill sets that is required when she was hired are the type of skills that you probably never heard of today. For example, the measure of her skills is how fast she can type on the typewriter. They do this competency analysis of her words per minute that she can type. Why? Because it's all about speed at that time. So the measure of a person's productivity is by how fast that they can complete the task. And not just fast, it's also error-free. Because why? Typewriter doesn't have a delete button. So you see how that has actually become so stupid to measure today. So that's what Jack Ma meant by stupid job is going to be killed. It's not really that nature of the job is not needed, but the competencies that is required has actually evolved. And people who not evolve in terms of their competencies will be left behind. Okay. So I love to bring this to your attention, and I love for you to engage on the chat. You look at this wheel and what happened in the internet in just 60 seconds. So my challenge to you is to declare how many of these apps you have been using. Yeah, plenty here. I would like you to declare how many of them. Right? So I bet that all of us at least use minimum 5 of these apps, minimum. And I'm not surprised if all of you, most of you are declaring that you are using all of these applications. Or maybe some of you deny that you use Tinder. Okay. Now, why is it important that I bring this to you? It's because these 60 seconds of precious data being generated by just simple apps that we use day to day is actually equivalent to the entire world's data that has been generated 10 years ago. So imagine like how much evolution of just simple enablement of internet, enablement of digital applications, and how, you know, we actually contributed to this massive amount of data. So that is what big data is all about. Okay. Yeah, thank you for typing your responses. So because of this, why I am passionate about data and analytics, and why CATS actually try to fuel this data literacy and push for talents to enable themselves with being data driven, okay, being data literate. Why? Because you know, for us, technology, software, whatever, yeah, that businesses are going to use, they still require that skills of talents being literate around data. So if you see this upside down pyramid, it means that, you know, the top 2 tier, let's say now organization for manual invested themselves into being digital driven and all that, they need a pool of talents that are able to drive or to use that platform. So if they buy from a Kanchil car and they buy a Ferrari engine, for example, now they need those drivers that can drive that Ferrari. So the top 2 tier of this are all the data users or the digital users. Now the bottom tier is where it's a little bit more sophisticated in terms of skill sets, because you are the engine designer. You design that platform, you are the enabler of that drivers to be able to drive at ease. So these critical skills at the bottom, unfortunately, is harder for the current workforce to pick up. We have our BAU, we have day-to-day, we are firefighting constantly, we have other lives to juggle and all that. And all in all, I saw that it took about 2 years on average for the current workforce to pick up this knowledge area. But for graduates like you have fresh mind, you are born into technology, you have least resistance to be enabled in this. And I saw that literally you can get yourself certified in this knowledge area in just short 2 to 3 months period. Yeah, unlike the old folks like me. So having said that, I want to bring to you the KPMG studies around what organizations are looking for. So let's go to the bottom about the digital knowledge and ability. Yeah. So it's all about ability to work with data. This is KPMG report. Ability to use automated systems. So you are not afraid of technology. You're just curious about how to do things better. And how to be more productive by just leveraging on technology. And why I challenge you about knowing that IR 4.0 related technology is because that knowledge is pertinent. Yeah, it's a new age technologies knowledge that you must have. And when we talk about data, of course, one other area that's mushrooming and people pay a lot of money for is around cyber protection, cyber security knowledge, and how to protect our data better, because we are very exposed out there. And last but not least, when you talk about decision making and trusting machines to make that decision, then you got to feed that machines with the right, statistical formula and things like that. So statistical knowledge becomes very, very critical, and ability to actually analyze what that data means, because it's all about storytelling, providing that insight based on data, not just producing all these sophisticated charts, but what is the story behind that charts. Okay, so that's the technical know-how. But most importantly as well, when you get to the workplace, no matter whether you are digitally onboarded or physically onboarded, but main thing is to be able to cross-function, because we are not going to be expert in everything. We need to rely on other people's skills. So we got to understand the whole process of how it works and who to do what, and get more collaboration of people by understanding that cross-functional processes. And of course, this one Saifullah has actually covered just now about the keeping abreast in terms of industry trending, and knowing if you are in an organization that serves client, know your client best. And there are challenges. In this phase that we are in a COVID situation and all that, you can really see how it has impacted all of you, right? Because it becomes so volatile, it becomes uncertain until when we are going to be under this lockdown and all that. And because everything is now very digitally driven, it becomes very complex. You can see even like the booking of vaccination, for example, the system down and all that. It has so many elements to be integrated all in all. And the ambiguity of the situation, the unknown, which vaccine is better than the other and all that, you can't predict anymore, you can't say. It's a situation of the unknown and the willingness to learn. So imagine the doctors today, right? 2 years ago, they don't even know the existence of COVID. And then suddenly they have to adapt and be able to treat COVID patient. So that is all about being adaptive to the VUCA environment. That's the example. So you got to learn to be collaborative, to rely on each other's skills and to appreciate each other's knowledge area. To be emotionally intelligent is important. How people get into that stress mode and not being able to cope. So ability to cope is very important, and understanding other people, how people think, and all that is more empathy, I would say, this emotional intelligence. And decision making is now need to be substantiated with what data has to say, not just gut feel anymore. Yeah. And last but not least, it's important to have this growth and upskilling mindset, because in my days, whatever knowledge that the university has equipped me, it lasted me for about 10 years until I feel that, I am out of touch and I need to go back and pursue my master's degree and all that. Today, you don't need to do that. Everything is within your fingertips. So I then would encourage you, since I say knowledge is in your fingertips, at the end of your fingertips. So these are all the resources of how you can enable yourself and make yourself very, very marketable to what the organizations need today. Yeah. And all these are free resources. And my actually personal favorite is this IR 4.0 data science and AI resources on cognitiveClass.ai. A lot of those big, huge technology providers are actually endorsing this by giving badges, recognition by their organization. And you can check it out. Massive amount of resources here. And we have our very own HRDF eLatte, and robotic process automation is another area that is very sought after these days. And of course, the agile methodology and design thinking elements. Yeah. So take note of all this, and pursue it while you have the time in hand and you have that that capacity. Your brain is not occupied with a lot of things these days, and occupy yourself accordingly. For cats, I did say that we enable talents around data science and AI skill, or data science and analytics skill. If you are interested, we have various cohorts, at least this year, and we have sponsors that are interested to sponsor your journey. So no money down, just a little bit of additional time. And if you're interested, you can check out the program and how to sign in to the program at our DataStar website. But what actually I take pride on is this. All our talents, not just equipped by us, we are also responsible to place and take pride in being able to sell you to the organization. And our record is saying that more than 70% of our graduates from DataStar program are earning more than 3K in less than 3 months. And this actually beats what the data today has been reporting. Yeah. And early this year, or sometime in April, it saddened me when I actually saw this news that fresh graduate is earning at minimum wage. Do you know what is minimum wage in this country? It's 1,200 ringgit. And I live in a condo where we have UNHCR employee as handyman, and even he is earning 1,600 per month from us. So it saddened me to hear this news, and it saddened me that you studied so hard, and you ended up with salary level below poverty line even. What is poverty line is 2,208 in this country. So if you want to beat these stats, you don't want to belong to being part of these stats, yeah, enable yourself. And even, I welcome you to sign up if you have keen interest around exploring data science and analytics kind of skills. Alrighty. So I guess that's all from me. Enough blabbering, but I open for any further question. Thank you.
Hi, Rosalinda. I think I'll jump in here. I just wanted to ask a question because I think your IR4 slide, the one with all of the sectors and big data underneath, super informative. Which one of those sectors would you say you see over the next couple of years being, A, most interesting, B, low barrier to entry, and C, what you think in those sort of in the next couple of years that will blow up the most?
Okay, being biased, I would say, of course, data and analytics skills, the ninth pillar that connects it all. Why I'm saying that it's little barrier of actually going into is because all of us are really already well versed with using Excel. And sometimes we actually take into granted the capabilities of Excel. It has a million row. And what do we do with that million row? Because Excel in itself is an enabler for us to be analytically driven. The moment you have that mindset of the Excel that you have in hand, then you give any form of technology, you are already adaptive to it. So that's my take and my biasness. But my personal favorite is also IoT. Because it is already there, you know, like how easily that I installed by myself the camera, the security camera, and how I just could monitor my home just through my device. And we also have our, you know, our health device or smartwatch and things like that. So those are all IoT components, but of course we are more of the user of that technology. So this is the next level of how to actually be at the back there doing the analysis of what it means that every day that we generate data on our personal mobile devices.
Okay, I think this question is actually, I think both Mr. Saif and Ms. Linda can actually answer. So we've got two questions from our graduates. Number one, is it normal for fresh graduate salaries to have their first salary at a minimum wage rate, especially in rural area states of Malaysia, or some even in urban area before COVID started? Okay, so that's the first question. What is the minimum wage rate of fresh grad salaries compared to now? Second question is, what is the best way to motivate and market ourselves as a fresh grad, especially now during COVID, when a lot of the industries are majorly affected, some have to close office and things like that. So there's two questions here that you can answer.
Yeah. Okay, so the first one, Wijian, yeah. Right. Whether it's typical and this minimum wage, it's not. During my time, and I graduated in 1998 at the age of 22. Now I reveal my age. I was already paid at 2,400 then. So you see, to me, it's a sad thing where we are today, after more than 20 years, the graduates is earning even lesser than during my time 20 years ago. Okay, so to me, it is a national issue, this fresh grad salary level. Yeah, so that's why I'm passionate about challenging graduates to get yourself upskill and to study what are most advertised on all the job platforms, yeah, and see what kind of skills that they are advertising for. And if you see that repeatedly they kept on advertising and not closing that job, it means that they couldn't get talent around it. And this is probably Saifullah's area of expertise. Yeah, what are those jobs that are left open for more than a month to be filled? It means that you know, we do not have enough talent. And what it means economically, if we don't have enough talent, it's scarce skill area. It means that organizations are willing to pay a lot more if you have that skills. So our stats, with all that we have done. These days, you can ask Husna, our fourth cohort of data scientists or data professional, they are on average, like now, of course, we just released the fourth cohort. They already landed with like 5,000, 4,600 salary scale for fresh grad who has no experience, right? So that's my answer, Wei Jin. Challenge yourself. Do not settle for less. You don't deserve it. Right. So Alif, Aiman, the best way to motivate and market yourself. So isn't it already motivating enough that I share with you how much that our grads that we have retrained and already placed, and how much they are able to earn in this tough time. Yeah. So that's your motivating factor, your carrot. But yeah, to me, is all about what organizations actually need. Go and be interested in what kind of jobs that, you know, massive hiring. Look at Tata Consulting, for example, massive recruitment that they're going to do. But it's all around, you know, IR 4.0 skills that they are looking into. Yeah. And then I saw
the last question that we have, sorry, not last. What's the best way for Islamic studies, which I think can be challenging around this time as well, graduates can take a position in this data time?
I mean, I just sorry, Roslyn. I just to add to this. I think it's a very niche industry, or well, graduation to have, right? Islamic studies, and I would always bring this back to passion, right? What's your passion within Islamic studies? Like, what do you want to push in terms of? Because there's always, you know, if you look at Muslim Pro app, the guy who came from Malaysia who started the app, you know, that's a heavily data driven company, and you know, somewhere where you can depart your knowledge within Islamic studies within that. Just partner it with a hard skill set within data. And again, I just to push back onto you know, the market right now, to keep yourself motivated. And if it's very how do you call that, saturated for you, for especially in your industry, I've seen, I don't know if a lot of you know Gary V, but what he does promote is, you know, reaching out to startup founders and owners and saying, hey, and this is only within your capacity, right? Obviously, people in Malaysia have different economic situations, and some people may need income, right? Some fresh graduates are comfortable living with their family and stuff like that. And if you really value experience over salary as well, you know, Gary V pushes out there to go and approach these startup founders and say, hey, I'll work for free for 3 months. I want to prove my worth to you. And sometimes that works, especially in an industry where, you know, and the motivation will come from the work you do and the reward they give, because the fact is that the company hasn't really spent any money on you. They will be more incentivized, obviously, if you do have to sift through the right companies and make sure that they would commit to, you know, something further down the line. Now, again, you know, it's all about pulling yourself out of bed in the morning and breaking a routine. So again, if it's anything to do with motivation, or, you know, it's break your routine, whether it's a physical break in your routine, like do something very different. Shall we go on to Nazrin's question?
Yeah, I think Nazrin actually specifically asked for you, Mr. Saif, about your transition.
I'll start with the first question. So based on my experience sieving through resumes, cover letters, interviewing candidates, could you share with us what attracts you personally to a candidate? Okay, so for me personally, I like simplified CVs. For me, especially resumes, I don't like a lot of information. I want to be able to see what your skill sets are, what your core competencies are, and where have you been. We don't want to know, like, you know, your address, your IC number, your everything, because a lot of these personal data information that you leave on your CV, it's, again, come back to data, it's extremely, extremely dangerous, and we are heavily exposed. So that's something I would say for me. I like something simple, and I like someone in terms of CV, what, you know, a well-written, well laid out CV is what attracts me, because, you know, at the end of the day, the initial impression of seeing things, I spend probably, and I'm not kidding to you, probably like 45 seconds to a minute sieving through a CV before I realize whether they're a good fit or not for a role I'm recruiting for. So for the second one, you switch your career from your academic background, finance, into recruitment. what's your advice for people trying to seek for a career in field that is not related to their academic background? So if you are, look, you have to put yourself out there. You have to make yourself known that you can do that, what the other field is. So for my transition from finance, I was in audit, which is not a very people-facing role, but there are moments where you have to annoy clients. And I use that engagement to switch, what my strength was dealing with people. And so honing into that skill set of soft skills of managing stakeholders and such, I realized, let me try something still in finance, but people facing. So you have to do these things incrementally when you do these changes. It can't be a total 180 because culture shock is a real thing. And your brain is only limited to a certain amount of shock before you give up. And with COVID, it's even easier to give up, and that threshold is a lot lower. So do things incrementally. I think if you see that you're in finance, you want to do something like myself in recruitment or people services, think about how in finance you can slowly transition into that. Who knows, as you transition for finance, for example, you're going to business partnering, you may find, hey, finance business partnering is exactly what you want. You still want to be in finance, but not, so along the way, you just have to change and things, incrementally, 1% change per day does make a massive difference across the year. I guess I'll pass it to Roslinda for that first question.
For me, what catches my eye is really that personal summary about yourself before I even want to read further. And many times that I review CV, and if you can't pitch that summarizes who you are, I lost interest very fast and not interested to even go through that CV. And that personal summary, I think Saif, you're more an expert in this, but it's a combination of how well you can highlight your strengths beyond just your technical capabilities, and with that strengths, how you see yourself adding value to organization. So it can be as short as 2-3 sentences, and to me that's eye-catching.
Do we have any more questions, everyone? Yes. Thank you really so much. I think we've already extended a bit of time from today's webinar. I would like to say thank you again to Mr. Saif and Ms. Rose, with Ms. Linda. And I think just to summarize what everyone has been saying before this is to all our graduates, open up yourself to opportunities, challenge yourself, be open to possibilities, do not limit yourself. Data now is the way to go. Combination of skills and your strengths, show them. I think it's a very good opportunity for you during this lockdown to just really look at your strengths and see what is out there, and don't limit yourself to just the same name in looking for work in your area, because you'll never know the strength that you have. You might be applicable to other industries or in other jobs as well. And then when you do your CV, with our panel's advice, show your strength, show your skills, be precise. And I think if I can add on a tip is that I think it's also worth for you to really read through the job description, so that when you are submitting your CV to them, try not to send the same CV to everyone. Try to maybe be a little bit more creative at the start of your CV and look at the kind of people or the kind of skills they're looking for, and that is what you put in your CV. So when you send it out, it will be more appealing to the recruiters as well. So that's my 2 cents of view from that, and what I've got from everyone as well. And as you can see on the side, we have messages from both Ms. Linda and Mr. Saif, and ways to contact them. You can look them up on LinkedIn. I'm sure they will be happy to connect and share opportunities and advice further as well. So I would like to say thank you again, Ms. Linda, Mrs. Saif. Even I myself learned a lot, especially about data today. And I want to say thank you to all our alumni who joined us today. Please follow us on the Alumni UM Facebook or Twitter or our Instagram, because we also share and career opportunities there. And what you say is true. Data is really in demand right now. I mean, the last two career opportunities that we posted was actually invitation to programs that has to do with data. And please, I would really encourage everyone, if you are interested, please join the programs that we have advertised on Alumni UM. Currently, I can share that we have a KPT CAP Shopee program, which is a program that is being shared by Shopee. I'm sure everyone is familiar with it, and they are offering an internship program that you can join, and this is supported by the ministry for you to join. Is for budding entrepreneurs, especially those who want to look at online businesses. So please join. We have about 250 places. So you know, there is a big opportunity there. And also another opportunity that just came in, the Bank Negara is offering a Kijang graduate program looking at analyst programmers and digital graduate analysts. So really in line with what Ms. Linda is saying, you know, like really data is the way to go. And I hope you all will take this opportunity to apply to those career opportunities. I think I've spoke a lot. We've learned a lot. Thank you so much again to everyone. And before we go, we would like you to fill out our feedback form, which you can see there's a link on it on the chat box on the side. And also I would like to invite everyone to fill up the feedback form. And this is the easiest way to go about it. Just scan it on your phone and then you could go to the feedback form as well. Okay. So thank you again, everyone. If you have any questions, you could leave it with us as well. You can email it to us at alumni@um.edu.my, and we can also forward your questions back to our speakers as well. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. And could we take a photo with everyone? Could everyone turn on their videos so that we can take a picture together? Don't be shy. So we have everyone's video. It's okay, bed hair, house hair, or you know, backgrounds and things like that. Yeah. Could we have a photo with everyone? Turn on your cameras on the side. Oh, we have very shy alumni. Oh, Nazri has a UM background as well. Very nice. Hi, Ashraf, I can see you. Everyone else? Ms. Nabila, Fikri, who else is on here? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to take a photo. Haja, can you please snap a photo? We're going to count.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Lynn?
1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay, done.
Okay. All right. Thank you again, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Sai. Thank you, Ms. Linda.
Thank you.
Hope you all have a nice day. And those celebrating Selamat Hari Raya Haji. We hope that you'll keep in touch with us again soon. All right.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you, everyone. Bye. Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, everyone.